This is a video titled A Little Bit About My Crush on Steve Sadie. So, in 2013 winter, I began attending the FBI trial of Mohammed, right as Aaron Swartz was coming up dead that Friday, which I think was the second day of jury selection, which I watched. It was a roughly 30-day, 28-day trial, and I went to every single day. I was always present, had an interesting time speaking silently and talking with people behind the scenes, taking notes and learning FBI trial methods. So I didn't really mean to get a crush on Steve Sadie, being that he's married and 60, he was like 60 at the time. Like, I must have been, 36 or something. And I think I noticed him when we were sequestered in what it was his facial expressions. He wasn't able to, his body language, so expressive. Like his tongue-in-cheekness, which was one of his primary gestures. Also his dynamism with the Wax team. They did sort of a good cop by cop, where Wax was the abrasive, angry one, and Sadie was the suave, genteel one. And his background, evidently his dad was in the United Nations Secretariat or something, but I mean, it's just very cool demeanor that was so, I guess, it's New York, but it's also New York come to Oregon. And understated, I think he was probably tormented, and I was just kind of in an isolated place in my life. And it was one of the most meaningful times, and I think as Mr. Wax invited me up into their office, of course I wanted tremendously to work with them or something as fascinating in law. And when I got invited up to the Federal Defender's office, I'm thinking, oh cool, a job or an interview or something. It's a censorship, it was a gag order. And I understood they needed to represent their client, and so they needed to provide me with a gag order. And Mr. Sadie did not appear within the first 10 minutes, and Mr. Wax was rather intolerable, though charming, and I got an invite to his book signing party. So I just left it at that. I told her, I was like, I had planned my script, which was anything you want. I think secretly I knew they might try to gag me. It's like, oh, anything you want. And then I immediately went down to City Hall and sent them an email back saying, oh no, I'm sorry, I won't be able to comply with that. And so it was sort of like I got out of the physical meeting, which was in a sense intimidating, more like I directly felt concerned, like, oh, to have Mr. Wax as your father must be a tremendously stressful experience. And then Sadie's absence to me indicated he was above it all, or he didn't really want to participate in intimidating a journalist or a writer, a blogger. And I understood it was something they needed to do. And I didn't. As he left the trial on the final day, I said something like, good work, Mr. City, you're my new hero. And then I saw him at the sentencing, and it was so long after, it was like very far into 2014, October, I was at the sentencing hearing. And I could just see the kick in his step, the joy of the sort of FBI trial reunion of all these concerned individuals. And I was just like reading a foreign policy book, trying to be a little nerd with my hair covered in a scarf, and just trying to be nobody. And we filmed, Ben Pickering and I filmed the press conference. I was really proud of Ben. He pulled it together for that and was a good journalist and manned a second camera. And it was phenomenal. And then I basically almost never saw him again, except we were there for the I'm trying to think, was it fairness hearing or something to do with the USA versus the city of Portland on the Department of Justice policing uh, initiative settlement agreement. And one day I'm standing there with Mom and Ben right by the picture of Obama and Biden near the exit, and he just walks by and he's with another attorney or somebody, and it was like we noticed each other but we didn't notice each other, and it was his politeness that was just infinitely deferential. Now I'm recalling, I actually dropped off a book of my dad's poetry, and I dropped off a Buddhist statue of Kuan Yin, the goddess of compassion, for them, just as thank you, because they were like mentors. I grew to appreciate more Ethan Knight with the prosecution. I didn't like him at the time. I found his style obnoxious. But I had so much fun writing about it because it was all just a motley crew of characters and individuals with a pretty gnarly script. One time I met, what's his name? Ryan Browns, who was up for a judgeship but didn't make it on his scandalous essays when he was a youngster. But I one day accosted him at the Apple store. I was like, "Hi, I recognize you from the FBI trial." He even popped into Lisa Haynes' trial once. And he was actually present at the Starbucks when I confronted the Portland police officer who collects Nazi memorabilia, Mark Kruger, the infamous. So I was having a confrontation of this creepazoid, the idea, basically I think a combination of mine and other people's letter writing got that guy excoriated in the 2016 October DOJ report, admonishing him for some behavior but it was, he makes every officer less safe, etc. So, yeah, so my crush on Sadie is sort of like this triumphant thing. I think I just actually sent him the Supreme Court amicus brief with Nieves v. Bartlett, and I wonder, is he still in that office? Is he okay? Is he in good health? Wishing him well, and there's really nothing more I can do about that.